Yes, you wanted to go to Wings Talk, Woody?
I did. He says he has his surgery scheduled. He doesn't want to
Should we
give...
catch a dick up for who Wings is
Oh,
and who we're talking about? Because
thank
I don't
you.
think
Is that the guy you had a beef with, Kyle?
I don't know. I guess we all do in a little bit, but he's a lovable slug of a man that we like to marvel over. He's
suing,
Okay.
the once over. He's suing us for half a bill.
So get on our level.
No, go ahead, Kyle. And
he's a guy we used to work with, and he does Twitch streaming now, gaming stuff, and he rages a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a huge movement now that follows his rage. I don't know if you know who Mr. Mediker is, but he recently he made a video on Wings. It's got like last time I checked, it was over 300,000 views or something like that.
Isn't that great? Isn't that a
wonderful.
great feeling? That mocking video. That's so. I think of them in terms of like football stadiums. Like two Dodger stadiums have seen this video, shitting all over this guy. Fuck you.
That's like
350,000 views.
That's a
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's like That's like 4 Dodger stadiums. It's crazy.
3
5.
World Cup stadiums have seen this guy.
Yes.
He's so interesting.
14,000 people who liked it.
We're very interested in him here, and one of the niche things about him is that he weighs about 465 pounds, and he's been on this weight loss journey for the last 30 years or so, and so recently, for the last, let's call it 4 months, he's been raising money for bariatric surgery, but he's had the money for so long. At this point, he's got like 5 times as much money as is required to get the surgery. He's been planning to get it in Mexico.
So he's just milking it.
We think so.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt on that? So he might be milking it. That's definitely a possibility. But he might be just scared. And that might be one of the reasons that it took much longer than you'd guess. Because he doesn't leave his town very much. He doesn't leave his house very much. And I guess he's going to Mexico because they have lower standards. Like he doesn't have to lose weight in advance and stuff like that. So to ask a guy who's not very worldly to just pack up and go to Tijuana for some surgery is a big ask. And I think that is part of what slowed down the process.
Well, he's just lying. There's no way
He has
he's
enough
got
to
it.
get it in the U.S. now, right?
He's had enough to get it in the U.S. now, but they want him to lose like 60 pounds before they'll do it safely, and he didn't look for a second opinion. He stopped at the first doctor who told him that rather than doing what Boogie did and be like, oh, yeah? Well, I'll find someone who will do it. Let me go to Doctor 2. Oh, you say no to? Let me find Doctor 3. Oh, I got to travel 3 states over? No big deal. I'm changing my life. Wings was like, oh, is an excuse to be had here? All right, see you later. And just said fine and walked away. So he's getting the surgery in Mexico, supposedly, but I still don't believe it's scheduled. I'll believe it when I see some legit documentation that he'd never show that. I'll believe it when I see him in fucking Mexico, surrounded by Mexicans speaking Mexican.
So let me help people catch up for this. He says the surgery is scheduled between 3 and 6 weeks from now. Now, the reason he's not giving us the date is that people fuck with him. And they do. If he said, look, I'm going to be at the airport on, June 17th, then they might fuck with him, right? They might find a way to cause him trouble. So there's some logic in saying 3 to 6 weeks, but it's also far enough out that, and broad enough, like he didn't say mid-June, where it's kind of hard to fuck with him. He gave himself such a big period of time. It could be that it's not actually scheduled because he has a history of lying about that being scheduled, right? He's told us, oh, well, I already have the plane ticket. Airlines don't care. You can just change the date willy-nilly all you want. They're cool with that. Don't you know? I don't know if he
doesn't want to be
passport.
fucked with, couldn't he just make up the wrong date? Like, that seems, if you don't want to be people showing up at the airport, you say, oh, I'm going to be there, if you're flying out on the 12th, I'm going to be there on the 13th. See you guys. Like, suckers, I'm out of here.
He seems like the worst liar on the planet. Like he lies a lot and really poorly. Like continuously. Like all kinds of things. Like
that's the combo. Like, I'm also a pretty bad liar. But I don't lie very much. There's no long history of me getting busted on lies on PKA. And none, I think. But Wings lies a lot. And there's a long history of him getting caught.
Why the hell do people watch this guy?
He's fascinating! Oh my god, you have no... Yeah, you don't know anyone like him, I'm sure of it. He's the only guy... He rages at video games. There's no telling how many controllers he's broken 18, right? Right? And he does it on stream all the time.
Okay.
His back wall behind him is damaged permanently. There's holes all over it. It's dented from just wicked controllers. Just raging. The picture falls off the wall now and then. One time he got up and he threw the picture off his wall. I don't know why he's so mad at the picture, but he was. And he yells at his subscribers and fans. You know, he tells them to kill themselves. Says he wishes that her parents would die in a fire and a wreck, and that you live the rest of your life knowing that they died a horrible death. And and then you know how you have to treat your fans with some respect. They are the lifeblood of your channel, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Well, he's just like, if you're not going to donate, you're worthless to me. Get the fuck out. It's great. He's like, you don't mean anything to me. And
he'll do that thing where, like, you know, obviously Twitch streaming, you're relying on donations and shit, but you can also run commercials. He'll like spitefully be like, God, I've been doing this for 4 hours and only got $50. Enjoy 3 minutes of ads, and then just play 3 minutes of ads for him, and then do it again. And it's like,
yeah. And a lot of times when he complains about money, they start giving it to him. So it's been really lucrative. Like, he's doing great.
Yeah.
The thing that I think is interesting, and Mr. Medicare, like, we had to explain it to him because Medicare thought that, like, Wings was doing poorly, and I was like, oh no, Wings makes $5,000 or $6,000 a month in donations every fucking month. He makes every time you check over there, he's already got $100 in the bank, and he's still going.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing very well. He's just being miserable as fuck every step of the way.
But it's a great show. He makes good content, I think. You know, like I know he doesn't enjoy it, right? He doesn't want to be on Twitch. He doesn't want to be in the public eye. There's so many people enjoying his misery that it makes him more miserable. And there are a bunch of channels, I don't know, 6, 10 channels that have sprouted up, and they just take clips of his worst moments and string them together as a montage. And there's new content like 15 times a week.
And what he's not saying, it like, these aren't highlight streams of stuff. Well, I mean, I guess they're low light streams, but like, it's not like, you know, once a month a new one comes out. It's every day. They'll take like, there will be whole sections of every stream that they re-upload of him, you know, being upset at someone, or like Medicare was a guest on our show just because he was so, or a big reason being he was so fascinated and wanted to get all the deets before he made his 40-minute long Wings video.
That's a Medicare video. Man, it is so hard to get good freaks these days.
Ice Poseidon is good at it.
We had a guy on my show call in, like, he was a huge Maddox detractor, and then it turned out he was one of these weird, I mean, this is going to go in an uncomfortable direction, but he was like one of these weird guys that, like, obsessed about anime characters that looked like little, like, young girls but were like 9,000-year-old vampires, and that was cool with him. Like, he was endlessly fascinating. He challenged somebody to a boxing match. Like,
that's reasonable behavior.
Right. He made a limited time podcast with a guy on the show, and he got so upset about a joke somebody made that he threw his phone and smashed his computer during the show. It was like, this, you could entertain us forever, but then he disappeared, and it was like he vanished into the sunset and left so many people just wanting his insanity. It was like the opposite of one of those old movies where somebody's like the greatest hockey player who ever lived, and they need him to come back to play one game. But it was like, man, you're the greatest freak. You could be the greatest, like, psycho rageaholic freak on Twitter, but you've just got to do this, son. You've got to play this game for us. You've got to get back on the webcam so people can endlessly mock you.
Dude,
so his fetish was that he wanted to be with anime characters who are like 10,000 years old in a fantasy world, but they look like children.
I mean, I don't want to do his argument. I don't want to do the I'm not a pedophile argument, but it's everything he was into made me very uncomfortable.
Well, they were 9,000-year-old children. That's not pedophile.
Yeah, that's fine. You got a loophole, Terry.
But Wings, so what was I gonna, the mocking, he took Lexapro. He's on Lexapro now. And on some levels, that kind of lowers the rage and the anxiety. But he also kind of beats Lexapro and still manages to get very upset over things. And for me, like, I'm starting to get it, like, wow, like you ever see one of those big guys that wears the I Beat Anorexia t-shirts? Like, that's him in Lexapro at this point. Like, he's all pissed off, and like, he's not supposed to have any anxiety now. But he still won't play certain games. God of War in front of people. Yeah, he hasn't cried, but
he hasn't cried in a while. And I'm gonna be honest, like, when he cries, that gets my juices flowing. When he breaks down and tears start flowing and stuff like I feel like that's real, because there's no way he can fake that.
When Kyle says it gets his juices going, don't mistake that for meaning that he's empathizing with his own tears. He's laughing joyously as
tears come out.
This man is crying.
Yeah, tears of joy for me. Just I don't anguish for him, I suppose. But like, I know it's real. Then that's the thing.
It's the blood in his black heart going. That's the juices he's talking about.
Absolutely. It's like when a girl cries in a porno. You know it's real. You know she's really not enjoying it, and then you can get off. So when I see Wings crying, I know he's not just fake.
Both of you.
I know he's not just faking it. I know he's not just raging because he thinks it'll get viewers. He's really upset if he's crying, because he's not an actor, you know. He's not over there with some onion fucking chopping it up on his desk out of frame. No, and he's he whimpers and stuff. It's great.
The one where he whimpered,
the whimpering, the way they edit it, like it is like so these edits are not low quality. Like Mr. Big Guy is the name of the song. I don't know if we can listen to that on the show.
I don't think so.
But it has like 100,000 views now, and it's a guy who put a lot of effort into this. And Wings' crying was on there, and there's different pitches in crying, like that kind of shit. That guy isolated all those little sounds and used those as like beat points in the song. And it's like as you're listening to it, you're like, what is that? Oh my.
But they took Wings whimpering and they went. Yeah, like Dick.
I guess he put it into a synthesizer so he could play the tune on his keyboard. It's pretty amazing. The whole scene is amazing, and it's good content. It's good content, and part of it. This is why I'm watching YouTube more and more. It's so real. It's real. I tried to watch Terror the other night, which is actually a pretty good show. And it's losing me. These are all actors in costumes. I'd rather watch some guy bump his head while repairing a diesel engine and get angry, because it's real. I enjoy it. He's all dirty. I guess he rubs his nose a lot off camera because it's constantly all dirty. And it's hilarious to see him like talk to the camera and not know how disgusting his face looks. I love it. I love all of it. DeBoss, I'm talking about you. And Wings of Redemption is real. I think if he's playing this as a long con, he's a genius, because I'm falling for it.
Well, he deserves it. I mean, that's the next level, is just the most gifted of our actors dedicating themselves to pretending to be complete psychopaths online.